Welcome back to One Consciousness. This week, the channeling came through from the animals on the new moon, the 7th of July, and it's also prefaced a really intense week where the message from them is it's time to prepare. So as we go into the next stage of helping to bring in the new earth and the golden age, it's now time for us all to start preparing. There has been a call to action from them for a long time for us and those of us who are working with our animals and with our guides and all the other mentors that we have. It's really important now, they're saying, to tune in every single day. They want us now to stay in our hearts, to come out of our heads. And it's quite interesting that on Monday, this coming Monday, in most time zones, Mars, Uranus and Algol are all conjunct. And that is, the Algol side is very symbolic of actually people losing their heads. It may well be that it is purely symbolic, and we get to start putting our logical sides and our heads and our egos to one side now as we go into our hearts and the sacred part of our hearts where we can meet with all the other sentient beings, where we are all at that frequency and vibration of the harmonic chord, all looking to bring in heaven on earth as this moves forward now in the Ascension process. We are being bombarded wave after wave now with the solar flares that are coming in. Many M-class, some X-class and C-class solar flares, and all of those are upgrading our DNA and working with us physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, on every single level. So we have very little time to actually process a lot of these, but the message is also, as well as it's time to prepare, we need to all take rest as and when we can. That's also really, really important right now. When the last video went out just over 2 weeks ago, all the animals were really, really busy behind the scenes, and I couldn't get to speak to any of them at the time. Normally, before I put these videos out and ask them who'd like to speak, one or the other or several of them will come in. But 2 weeks ago, it was just as though they were running around literally behind the scenes. Again, like the play about to begin, there's absolute chaos just before it starts. And it's only really just been over the past week again that I felt them coming back, wanting to give us more information again now and help us to move forwards. So just to recap on where we're at, we have the horses who are giving us updates on the earthquakes and the volcanoes around the world and where they're going to be erupting. The whales that have been taking me down deep into the ocean around a pyramid that's on the seabed, I believe, down there. But obviously it's a very significant temple that they were taking me around and showing me down there. There are many areas around the Pacific, around the Ring of Fire. There's also an island that I haven't actually announced where that is at the moment, that they've been showing me, where there's UK, US participation going on. There are many things that they have been showing us, and of course they are all helping to bring the veil down, and the grid that has been up for thousands of years that I'm aware of through them, that they have been bringing down. And we talk about one veil often, but the way they're speaking about it now, I think this is a series of veils or series of grids that have been set up. One of my horses was energetically moving through all the different dimensions as well over the past few weeks. And I believe now, with all the veils coming down and the grids being dismantled between the dimensions, that this is going to be about us actually moving through the dimensions and all the different races and civilizations that have been living simultaneously with us in this galaxy, that there will come a point where we all get to meet, maybe not all at the same time, but certainly we will have a lot more access going through these dimensions going forwards. So let's move on to the message from them for this week. So one of my horses, which I mentioned at the beginning, her message at the beginning of the video, the time is near, she said. You need to prepare yourself. So they are going to help us, and they're asking us to walk fast and move fast when they tell us, both metaphorically and also physically. The ancient ones are calling. So they're asking if we can hear the ancient ones calling. The ancient ones who are bringing back much of the information which we've thought has been lost over all the civilizations over thousands and thousands of years. They are now singing to us to get our attention and to impart and instill all the knowledge they have from the past, which will be relevant again now. So they want our attention. They want us to meditate every day and ask for them to come in. They have much information, she says, to impart to us now. And they are saying to raise the frequencies in the sky or the galaxy. And it's now that the crescendo is reaching its zenith. They are helping to elevate all of our frequencies. So I went back and asked them what happened with the horses escaping again over this week in London. More horses again, and there were obviously all the 5 horses in April that also escaped. And they said their frequencies are increasing constantly, and they want to break out now. To feel trapped is no longer an option for them, she said. Something's going to happen. And the way that I've seen the horses work, they absolutely orchestrate the outcomes that they want. They absolutely orchestrate the outcomes that they want. And I wanted to repeat that because I have no doubt that they have a plan that they're putting into place as to how this might happen. So she says not to worry about them. They have this plan that they are following, and they will act when the time is right for them to free themselves. They too are preparing. So we went back to the veils coming down and the animals' participation in those veils coming down. All the work that they are all doing behind the scenes. When we were speaking, one of my other horses was giving me a vision not only of information coming in through my crown, which she often does and shows me that, but also of all this water. We were in the ocean at the time, as you are, and she was funneling down the information through my crown. But at the same time, there was a lot of water bubbling around my feet and waves coming around, but high waves coming around my feet. So she said, the ocean is swelling on the underbelly. As the vibration rises in the oceans, they will be swelling further and splashing. In other words, gigantic waves. So it's maybe not a good idea to be swimming in the ocean physically at the moment. And it's important for everyone to stay safe. There are boats that are pacing up and down in the oceans, observing everything and all the movements. Many are now aware of the influence the oceans are going to be having in this movement forwards. The oceans are shaking from the seabed, the seafloor, and the vibration is rising upwards. We will know when we see the physical signs of the impact at the top of the ocean that the changes are about to take place. Again, not in our logical timing, but in cosmic timing. And it's quite interesting when she was talking earlier in the week about this rising from the underbelly, from the seafloor, from the seabed, to see information about the earthquake that happened on the seafloor, so right under the ocean, off the coast of South Africa this week. This, I believe, is exactly the type of symbol and events happening that she's talking about, that it's now happening all the way around the world. All these symbols are appearing of nature now actually taking the lead in what is about to happen. So there are submarines that are closely watching what's going on as well and patrolling the seas. I'm not sure I really want to give the information away of where they've been channeling that a lot of this activity is happening. But we do know that there is a lot of surveillance going on right now, both through US and UK intelligence. So my belief is that the animals and nature and the higher forces, is what I would call them, are going to be keeping a lot of these movements now quite nebulous. They're going to be undetected on many radar systems, I'm guessing. They will be nebulous in many ways as to what is happening. So the feeling is that this is close now, and one of my horses is saying, yes, it is incredibly close. But it's still, and this is important to remember, it is still in cosmic timing. So the crescendo is here, and that final violin playing after the rest of the orchestra has stopped. That, she says, is the game changer. There's also glaciers nearby, I'm thinking in Antarctica, that's covering a portal there. That or those will split and break and float apart the same time as everything else is taking place. And then the portal will be fully open. There's traffic appearing from inside. I believe it's coming from the inner earth. Coming out, it also feels. These veils that have kept us all apart, that have kept us all enslaved, are all coming down, and that is what all the animals are saying at the moment. When this event happens, we will all be numb, paralyzed at the time of the event for a while. So it's nothing to worry about, but it's to ensure everyone's safety. So it's going to be like playing musical statues. And then when the music stops, we all stand like statues. The refraction of the light from the event will render us numb, and that's all creatures, in safety but numb at that time. And again, I was asking, how can we prepare for this? And their recommendation, their messages to us are to always stay open, Keep positive, be strong in your heart and the sacred part of your heart. Discover that part of your heart where we are all one. Be complicit in the changeover to the new race, a new civilization. And again, I feel one of my horses working with my crown, and she's opening something up. Maybe we all need to start opening our crowns more, if we feel called to. Now is the time.